Welcome back everyone to Mona's Take. I am your host Mona Rose and we're here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Tonight's video is going to be Big Brother Live Feeds, night 21, I believe. This is probably going to be another two-parter. The house is still having a lot of conversations. So this will be part 1 of 2. Stay tuned. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. Can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Alright, let's get right into it. Brittany and Taylor did a lot of talking today. Brittany asked Taylor exactly what it was that Daniel said on Saturday. And Taylor said that Daniel said, all of America is watching. She really thinks she can get away with this crap. You can't be like this. She thought he was joking. And she said, I'm sorry. And he snapped at her and told her, do not talk to me again until after finale night, or on finale night. And Taylor's like, oh, okay. That's when she realized that there was an actual problem. Taylor tells Brittany that she doesn't have to give Daniel grace and accept his apology. She said, but I know it's coming. She says that it's going to be real ugly for him once he gets out of this house. I believe she's right. I don't think Daniel quite knows what's in store for him once he gets out of the house. As I have always told my kids, actions have consequences. For every action, there is a reaction. So, in my opinion, Daniel gets what he deserves. Taylor and Brittany talk about the next targets who they want to see go out. Taylor is adamant she wants Daniel out of the house next. It's just too toxic with both of them being in there. And I think after Amira goes, depending on who gets HOH, that it's going to be very interesting to see who does go next, because the leftovers have the numbers. So unless Monty and Joseph or Michael and Brittany are put up, their numbers stay intact. Brittany says it goes to show you how hurtful cliques can be and how damaging they can be. And Taylor said, yeah, they make everyone feel so small. And Brittany says, like, you're not worthy. She said, I don't think they really do it on purpose or they have malicious thought behind it. I think it just is what it is. And Taylor said, no, but that's what it is. It is what it is. Daniel and Monty talked this morning while they're having their coffee outside, the brief little time that they get the yard. I think they had it until like 11 o'clock today. So they're taking advantage of it and they're sitting outside drinking their coffee. Andy's out there meditating. And Daniel tells Monty that he doesn't understand Turner's reasoning. He said he still could have said the whole bullying speech and everything and still put Taylor on the block. Well, that would kind of defeat his speech. Or at least he says he could have put up someone who's doing the bullying. Like I said, perception. Amira was one of the ones that was doing the bullying. I told you guys from the start, I felt like it was a Mean Girls Club. And Amira, in my opinion, Amira, Jasmine, Nicole, Indy, Alyssa, they all play a part in the way that they've treated Brittany and Taylor. So I don't find any one of them any more, I don't hold any of them any more accountable than the other. As a group, they did it, they pushed the narrative, and that's what it was. And Daniel included, Nicole. Daniel says, you know, he could have put anybody up because there's people saying worse things than what I said to Taylor. And I'm like, really? You blamed her for Jasmine's ankle injury. You blamed her for Paloma's mental health. You blamed her for Nicole's mental health. You've called her a bitch. You have said that she doesn't deserve to be treated like a human. Excuse me, but Daniel, you have been right in the center of all of that, very vocal and just as hateful and mean and bullying as anybody else in that house has been. Nicole is talking to Amira and Alyssa, and she's complaining once again that Brittany keeps inserting herself into every conversation that's going on. And she's taking bits and pieces of each conversation and she's making up her own story to go along with it. So once again, Brittany is the topic of discussion. Taylor is the topic of discussion. It's old, it's boring, move on. Nicole even says, that's going to be the word of the day, is inserts herself, or insurrection, whatever. Interjects. She interjects herself into all the conversation, and that's going to be the word of the day. Amira says that her and Terrence are comparing notes when they're doing their campaigning so that they can find out who in the house is lying to who. I think I probably would have believed that at first whenever Terrence said, vote me out, Amira has a right to stay here. I did this on a whim. He has since changed his mind. He has since decided that he wants to stay. So I don't know that he's sharing that information with her like she thinks he is. And then she says that she doesn't think that Turner even realizes that her and Jazzy are friends. And they're like, really? She's like, yeah, because if he knew we were friends, why would he be telling her all the crap that he's telling her? There's a reason Turner's telling her all of that, so that it gets back to the girls. They're trying to keep a low profile. They want a close vote, not a unanimous vote, so that there's no... that they won't be outed. She says, and you know what he told me? He told me that he's going to let the house decide. Because nobody listens to the HOH anyway. That's just proof of last week when Pooch got voted out. Because Jasmine didn't want him to go home. But somebody went rogue. It's basically, at this point, it's a game of cat and mouse. One side is telling the other side stuff to see where it goes. The other side is telling the other side stuff to see where it goes. Everybody's blowing smoke up everybody's ass and see what sticks. It's actually hilarious to watch. Nicole says, this thing, Nicole inserts herself into every conversation. In every conversation that they have, Nicole always turns that conversation around to be about herself. Always. This is not the first instance, and I've pointed it out several times. So they're having this talk, and Amira's trying to figure out what's going on, and Amira's on the block. She's having a bad week. And Nicole starts making it about herself. Well, yeah, Indy is so upset with me because I didn't go check on her the other day when she was so upset. But she didn't realize that my priorities are here and that I had to be with my people. And I can't be everywhere at once. And I can't take care of everyone. I'm taking care of the people I love in this game. Okay, Nicole. All right. It's exhausting to watch her sometimes. It really is. And there'll be other examples of this as we go forward. Alyssa tells Ameerah not to worry about it, that she has the votes, that she's going to stay, and then they need to work hard to get HOH this week so that they can start getting the snakes out one by one. I think the main snake is going out this week. Not that I'm biased. And Nicole tells Ameerah that she sees herself going to the end, that she's her number one, which everybody knows she's not her number one. Daniel's her number one. But she says, I can see myself going to the end with you. You've got the votes to stay. Keep your head up. Yada, yada, yada. And she's on this kick about how all these rumors are going around the house and that she wants to get to the bottom of it and find out who's starting these rumors. And they think it's Brittany. They think Brittany's taking pieces of conversations and making up her own stories and going and spreading the rumors around the house. Joseph and Michael talk, and Joseph tells Michael, Michael, and Taylor are in the storage room. And Joseph tells them that he just came out of the DR, and he's in a lovely mood, and he just loves both of them so much. So I'm taking it he had a good DR session talking about the leftovers. Taylor talks to the cameras and says all she has to do is lay low this week, win HOH, and then Daniel's going home. Nicole and Daniel go up to the HOH room. They're talking to Turner. And Nicole goes on this whole rant again about these rumors, that there's so many rumors going around. But the only one that she can mention when she talks about this is when they had their big blow up with Alyssa making a mistake and saying something when Indy was in there. That somebody said that Monty was crying. Now, that's the only rumor that she brings up. I don't know where all those rumors are getting started. They're crazy. Somebody's going around lying around the house. Just like when they said Monty was crying and Monty wasn't crying. But she doesn't mention anything else. Any other rumor. It's just that one. It's just like this mob mentality that you mention one little thing and gaslight around it. It's crazy. Turner tells them that he's not telling the house how to vote, that in his opinion, one of the people on the block can win the game and one of the people on the block can't. So he's kind of planting those seeds that Ameerah is the bigger target. And Nicole and Daniel, Nicole basically, because Daniel can't speak for himself if Nicole's in the room. But Nicole tells Turner that what he said resonated with them and that they're really thinking about what's best for their game and that they agree that one of the people on the block is stronger than the other and they're really taking that to heart. So Turner may not have to do anything. Daniel and Nicole may do it all for him. They may not have to even try to flip the votes. I think the votes are going to flip anyway. I think that unless it gets out that Ameerah is his target and that everybody's that the majority of the house is voting for her to go home, I think the vote is going to be 6-5 or 7-4, but I don't think it's going to be unanimous unless word gets out that this is what's going down and then nobody wants to be on the wrong side of a vote. So we'll see come Thursday. Monty, Kyle, and Turner talk later in the HOH room. And they're talking about Alyssa, Jasmine, and Amira having a final three. And Kyle says, well, Amira told me up front that she would never vote out Alyssa and she would never vote out Jasmine. That even if they're on the block, she's not voting against them. And Turner said, Alyssa told me the same thing. He's like, so they have a final three. Why would you tell, Kyle says, why would you tell people that? That just puts a target on your back. So they figured out that those three are tight. They need to break those three up. Jasmine is saying that she can't compete for 2 more weeks. She has not even tried to walk on that foot. And she said something today about trying to go around the house and see what's going on, and it's hard with that scooter because she can't get up and down the stairs and all of this. And I think it was Taylor. I don't remember who was sitting in the living room. I think it was Taylor that said, well, you can take your crutches up the stairs. And she goes, or you could use the boot that you haven't used. It's like she has a boot for the foot, but she's not even put it on. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on her foot at all. And she said, well, yeah, but I have to wrap my foot before I put it in the boot, and I just really don't want to do that. I'll just take my crutches. She is so milking that. Daniel and Jasmine talk, and Daniel tells Jasmine that he loves both Amira and Terrence, but that Amira is the stronger of the 2 players, that he has a bond with Terrence since he put him up on the block, that he kind of apologized for that and he kept him safe, and so him and Terrence have gotten tighter over that, and he just can't vote against Terrence to go home. All right, this is the big conversation so far of the night. Daniel finally talks to Taylor. He asked her yesterday if he could talk to her, and she told him she wasn't ready. Kudos to Taylor for doing that. So Daniel left her alone till today. So they're talking, and I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong. Daniel tells her that his emotions got the best of him and that he's a loyal person. He says they are different and have... Okay, before I read this, let me stop here. Before I read this, I want you to listen to this, and I want you to tell me in the comments below. Do you think this is an apology, or do you think this was another dig? I guess it's the words. I am not going to state my opinion until afterwards, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. All right, so he says... So he tells her that his emotions got the best of him and that he's a loyal person. He says they are different and have different approaches to the game and how they approach people in general. And their self-awareness are completely opposites. And they don't align, but that's fine. He says, I don't want any animosity, and we can be in the same room without being uncomfortable. If we butt heads, we can just walk away and leave the room. He says that there are going to be times after they get out of the house where they're at parties and BB functions, and he doesn't want it to be weird. So then it's Taylor's turn to speak. Now, I didn't hear an apology anywhere in there. What I heard was, we're different people and the way we approach different people. He's saying, I approach people in a good way, you approach people in a bad way. He's saying self-awareness. He's got self-awareness. She doesn't. This is just what I'm reading into this. I don't hear an apology anywhere in that. So then it comes time for Taylor to speak. Well, of course, feed's cut off. Are you kidding me? Feeds come back on, and evidently what she had asked him, she'd either ask him or she had said something about Paloma's mental health. Because when the feeds came back on, Daniel says, whatever happened with her starts at home, outside this house, and slowly grew with the stress inside this house. What I was stating was that whatever happened with y'all added to it. Daniel said she needed this game, and yes, I don't think you were the root of it. I was just trying to say it didn't help the situation. So I don't think you were the reason she left. So basically he's saying now, he blamed her for Paloma's mental health. Said, you're the reason Paloma left the game. So now he's saying, well, you're not the complete reason for her mental breakdown, but you added to it. This man. And let me tell you, the grace that Taylor is showing him, number one, he doesn't deserve. Number two, it makes her one hell of a person. Because I would have told him to kick rocks and get out of my face. But she didn't. She tells him that she's concerned for him when he gets out of this house. America is not going to be kind to you because of that moment. And that she still wants to be his friend and will support him. And she said, America's going to see you as a white male yelling at a black female. Of course, we're not going to see it because CBS is never going to air that. We didn't get to see it on the live feeds because the live feeds were shut down. So unless somebody in production actually leaks that video footage, we're never going to see it. But the live streamers hear them talking about it, so we know what happened. I don't think they'll ever show any of that on CBS at all. None of it. Because then that hurts the narrative that they're trying to push for Jasmine and Nicole. They don't want Jasmine and Nicole looking bad in any light. That's why I'm very curious to watch tomorrow night's episode and see Taylor's speech. From what I've seen on Twitter from Spoiler King, I think that they left his speech in there intact. I hope so. So we'll see tomorrow night. I think that's going to be the most anticipated episode of the whole season. I think Wednesday and Thursday night's episode this week are going to be the most anticipated since they started Big Brother. Oh my God. Nicole. Drama queen. Narcissist. She's outside. She's talking to Terrence. Now remember, Terrence is on the block. So he's not having a very good week, right? She's saying in full drama fashion that she is, oh my God, this crap sucks, except she used other words. I'm so disgusted by this. Do you realize that I love you and I love Amira and I'm the swing vote? Do you know that? I'm the swing vote this week? And storms off into the yard, taking her walk to calm down. And it's like, girl, please, get the hell out of here with that crap. I'm sorry, she is getting on my ever-loving last nerve. So, that's the end of part one. I've still got some notes going. It is 12 my time. So it's 10 o'clock p.m. the house guest time. There's just now starting to have some conversations. So I don't know if I'll get another video out tonight or it may be in the morning, but part 2 is coming. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and I will talk to you here in a little bit. And as always, much love.